I refuse to participate in a recession.
Bonjour, BNI Canada, BNI Canada, time to restart the world.
BNI Costa Rica, es hora de reiniciar el mundo.
BNI Hong Kong, time to restart the world.
I refuse to participate in a recession.
BNI Guatemala, es el momento de reiniciar el mundo.
BNI India, it's time to restart the world.
BNI Japan、世界を再稼働させるのは今。
I refuse to participate in a recession.
BNI South Korea, 새로운 세상을 시작할 때.
BNI Malta, time to restart the world.
BNI México, es tiempo de reiniciar el mundo.
I refuse to participate in a recession.
BNI Sri Lanka, time to restart the world.
BNI Thailand and BNI Philippines, it's time to restart the world.
BNI United Arab Emirates, time to restart the world.
I refuse to participate in a recession.
BNI Nederland en Vlaanderen, het is tijd om de wereld te herstarten.
BNI Italia, facciamo ripartire il mondo.
BNI Singapore, time to restart the world.
I refuse to participate in a recession.
BNI ประเทศไทยถึงเวลาเริ่มต้นโลกใหม่ของธุรกิจ
BNI Guatemala, es momento de reiniciar el mundo.
BNI Uganda, time to restart the world.
Hi, I'm Dr. Ivan Meisner, founder of BNI, and let's restart the world.
Graham Weimiller, Chairman and CEO of BNI. Welcome to BNI's Restart the World. As we connect, we are streaming to 70 countries worldwide, and we are really excited to have you with us for today's BNI Restart the World program. You know, BNI has been operating for 35 years and supporting economic development, job creation, and entrepreneurship. And this year, that is more important than ever. So we have a great program today lined up to help you be successful for the balance of 2020 and beyond. So welcome to BNI members who are joining globally, and welcome to all business leaders who are joining us as visitors. We welcome you to this program. I want to start by thanking BNI's excellent national directors who help support BNI members in 70 countries. Again, thank you to BNI's national directors for their leadership, especially this year. This year, BNI members have generated over $10 billion in closed business just through the end of August. That is an amazing accomplishment. Congratulations to all BNI members who are part of this accomplishment. They have done so via 7 million valuable new client referrals. As I tell BNI members and BNI leaders around the world, they are the best economic stimulus package there could be. Those referrals will keep generating closed business and jobs and economic development in communities around the world. So congratulations to all BNI members and BNI leaders for that very significant accomplishment. You know, the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank are forecasting the balance of 2020 to be one of the most difficult economic periods since the Great Depression. At BNI, we know that doesn't have to be the case, that by collaborating closely through a system of core values and a proven system to generate new client referrals, we can change that outcome. And so we are committed to helping you restart the world. We invite you to join this movement to support businesses in communities to help support job creation everywhere. And so I welcome you to join the 270,000 members of BNI who are business leaders in 70 countries as part of the Restart the World movement. And so it gives me great honor to introduce the individual who started BNI 35 years ago, Dr. Ivan Misner, founder and chief visionary officer for BNI. He is a well-known author. He's known as the father of modern business networking. He is a friend and mentor to so many of us. He has created an enormous impact in the world of business, and we are so honored to have him lead today's discussion. Thank you to everyone for being a part of this program. And at this point, let me turn it over to Dr. Ivan Misner. Ivan?
Thank you, Graham. I appreciate your kind words, and I appreciate everything you've done for the organization and for small businesses around the world, especially during this very challenging time. We are broadcasting live, so let's get started. To restart is to reset, reopen, reboot, relaunch. This is the right mindset that we need to be in right now. Antonyms for restart, words that are the opposite, are to cut, discontinue, quit, abandon. These are words and feelings that'll get in our way if we want to pierce the dark clouds of apprehension that are all around us. These words need to be cut from our mindset to truly restart the world. We need to engage in the right mindset to reopen, reboot, relaunch. I believe that one can take unprecedented circumstances and turn them into unprecedented successes. We do that through self-reflection, creating a future picture in our mind and listening to our mentors. I want to talk for a moment about a concept in adult education called transfer of learning. It is the theory that learning can be transferred and applied in totally new and innovative ways to different situations. Most importantly, it's about taking ideas and applying them to your own situation or challenge. Think of the transfer of learning as a briefcase full of ideas that are given to you. You take that briefcase with you, you open it up, and you apply some of those ideas to your situation through self-reflection and contemplation. You can then unpack that briefcase. Through this process of self-reflection, after today's event, you can find ways to apply these concepts that you hear and transfer them to your own individual situation. That's how programs like Restart the World work. These events act like a catalyst for your reflection and implementation. You apply the ideas you hear through programs like this by recognizing patterns or possible situations that enable you to implement them outside your traditional thinking. You are the person who knows how to apply the ideas you're going to hear today to your situation, and that requires reflection after this event. The truth is that if you do things the way you've always done them, you're likely to struggle. It's okay to be in love with what you do, but if you're in love with how you do it right now, you might become irrelevant. You've heard me say before, I refuse to participate in a recession. Well, today I would like to introduce you to 3 other people who also refuse to participate in a recession. These 3 top BNI business leaders are passionately committed to restarting the world. They're here today to share their vast experience and business insights. Our first panelist, Mac Srinivasan, represents Asia Pacific. He's the president of global markets of BNI. Mac supports operations for BNI company-run countries. He's a certified financial executive recognized by the International Franchise Association. Mac's BNI leadership journey began as an executive director for BNI Bangalore. He was invited to lead the BNI operations 4 years ago, and the country is now one of the fastest growing in BNI. BNI India has grown from 9,800 members to over 36,000 members in a short span of 4 years. His vision is to impact over 1 million entrepreneurs, grow and transform their business by December 2029. Next, representing the Americas is Lorena Medina. She has been BNI Mexico's national director since November 2005, and she's been the BNI market manager for Latin American affairs. In this role, she supported the BNI Latin American countries through leadership training and counseling. Lorena completed her certified franchise executive credential in less than 1 year. By the way, that's pretty rare. Currently, BNI Mexico has over 125 chapters and almost 6,200 members. From the Middle East and Africa, we have on our panel BJ Shaw, the National Director for BNI in the United Arab Emirates and Qatar, and Co-National Director for BNI Kenya and Uganda. In the last 15 years, he's won numerous BNI CEO awards for outstanding performance. He holds a bachelor's degree in banking and finance from the University of Wales and a master's in trade and finance from City University in London. BJ recently qualified as a certified franchise executive from the International Franchise Association as well. This is definitely a very diverse panel representing a large portion of the world. So let's get started with a simple question for all 3 of you. And if you could simply state in a sentence or 2, what's one thing businesses can do right now to restart their business and refuse to participate in a recession? And let's start with Lorena.
Thank you, Ivan. You were talking before about mentoring. I think that the most important thing that you can do right now is to either find a mentor or be a mentor or both. So that could make the difference between carrying on with your business or not.
Great. BJ.
Thank you, Ivan. I would say another thing you could also consider is reframe. So reframing is all about looking at a situation and then looking at our capabilities differently, and then see how we can do things differently using those capabilities.
Great. Mac?
Thank you, Ivan. For me, I was thinking re-engaging with our clients and referral partners, being able to reach out to them now and just touching base with them.
Fantastic. Well, let me come back to the 3 of you now, and maybe you can elaborate on each of your answers. Give me a minute or so on what you're thinking, and we'll go back to Lorena.
Well, for me, personally, I went through all the stages of grief when we went online and with this whole situation. I was in denial, and then I was angry, and finally when I got to the stage of acceptance, that's when I started reaching out to my colleagues around the world, because I figured somebody out there has an answer. Somebody out there already figured out how to make this work. And that made a huge difference for me. That made a difference between carrying on successfully with BNI Online or just sitting on the curve and cry. So personally speaking, that saved me.
Excellent. BJ.
I'll share a couple of examples of how some members have actually reframed their businesses. We have a member in Uganda who has invested quite a bit in a brand new brewery. And this was towards the end of 2019. Literally a few months later, we had this pause. And, obviously everything was shut down. People were consuming the product, mainly which is beer, all the pubs, clubs, everything was shut down. So obviously some pivoting was required. What the member did was looked at the capabilities they had. They had a bottling line, they had the key ingredient, lots of raw material, and sanitizer. He said, look, I might not be able to make beer, or rather there's nobody consuming my product. How about I switch over to making sanitizers? And that's exactly what it did. And he's been literally selling tons of sanitizer out there. So that's one example. Another quick one is a member who traditional business was around team building activities in person. And what she's been able to do when she saw BNI move online, she was able to literally do the same for her business. So she took all her business online, and as a result, she actually discovered that her target market is not only limited to the local city that she lives in, but receiving inquiries from all over the world. So she had the capability, she had the team, they knew what it takes to do the team building. They just needed to pivot online, and they've been very, very successful. So those are two examples of reframing.
Thank you, BJ. Mac.
Ivan, I was thinking about re-engaging with clients, or just simple ways, maybe sending them a text message or giving them a call, just checking on them how they're doing. Because I just had a text a few days ago on a WhatsApp message from one of the vendors that I had used their services, maybe 4 or 5 years ago. And he was just checking with me, hey, Mac, how are you doing? Is everything going well? I felt good. I felt, wow, he thought about me, and he sent me a message and said, wow, next time I have an opportunity, I should reconnect with that vendor. So I think, Ivan, this is the best time to re-engage with your clients. We are at home now, or you're in a lockdown mode. It's best to go back to all your client lists to see who have we done business in the last maybe 3 months, maybe 6 months, or maybe in the last year. Maybe you did a great work for a client maybe years ago and have not reconnected. Now is the best time to do it. And when you re-engage, you become more visible to them, right? When you become visible, it builds better relationships, and that leads to recurring revenue. So I believe re-engaging with your clients is the best thing we can do now.
Thanks, Mac. Those are 3 great answers. Lorena started it with mentorship, and not only look for a mentor, but be a mentor. I have found that when I've been a mentor, I've actually improved my skills by being a mentor. Either way, I think that's a great thing to do now. BJ talked about reframing. Reframing is really important. We've seen an upholstery shop in the United States become a COVID mask manufacturer. And of course, BJ's example is a fantastic one of reframing. And Mac, re-engaging, touch points. It's not about social distancing, it's about physical distancing. We need to be more social than ever. These are 3 great answers. Thank you, all 3 of you. Okay, next question. How important is having a positive attitude in making your business successful? And let's start with Mac.
Ivan, I believe that positive attitude is required because that's the magnet that draws people towards you, right? So in order to have this positive attitude all the time, my suggestion was just surround yourself with people who can recharge your batteries. Now's you surround with people who can, who when you talk to them, you feel encouraged, or read books that kind of inspire you. Listen to music, because many times when I need to pep myself up, I listen to music, Ivan, and because most of the time, we get into the news, And when you see so much of news, garbage in, garbage out, maybe we drain our batteries. And so it's important that we protect ourselves or shield ourselves from negativity, and that helps build a positive attitude. And when you build a positive attitude, people get drawn towards you and get attracted, and then that leads again to better relationships, and that leads to referrals and revenue. That it's all a sequence. So that's so important now, Ivan.
Absolutely. Thanks, Mac. Lorena.
I agree 100% with Mac. Positive attitude is not everything, but it is almost everything. And we also need to be aware of the difference between positive attitude and blind optimism. We're not talking about ignoring the problem and saying it's not a problem, denying the problem and saying everything's going to be fine if I just sit here and do nothing. Positive attitude means acknowledging that there's a situation that is very tricky and it's very difficult, and deciding that what are we going to do about it? Yes, it's there's this whole situation. It's tricky. We have to figure out how to move on, and what are we going to do about it? Acknowledge the situation, acknowledge that there's a problem, but that your attitude of how we're going to fix it and how we're going to move forward, that's going to be crucial for your business.
Yeah, great answers. Listen, I think a positive attitude is like a shot of adrenaline. An attitude is absolutely contagious. It's absolutely contagious. The question is yours worth catching? And so it's that positive attitude that I think we need to have, and you need to find it using some of the things that they just talked about there. Okay, next question. What is the most interesting trend you've seen in 2020 which will help restart the world? Let's start with BJ.
Ivan, I recently came across a report talking about online shopping and e-commerce. The number of people using e-commerce or shopping online in the last 10 years, if you look at that number, when the situation, the COVID situation happened, that number literally doubled in the space of 90 days. So just look at the scale, what was happening, the trend over 10 years doubled in 90 days. And that just tells us what's important for companies today because of the situation, remote working and everything else. So I see digitization, automation, these are the big trends that I'm observing. And I would say the pandemic has had some positive effects on the world on that front. I think, again, BNI Online is a great example. I'll give you a short example in our office. Our paperwork, our processes, it all ran quite a bit of paper. For a number of years, we said, we got to make all of this paperless. And I think it could have been done. We needed to be forced in a situation when COVID happened. In a matter of a couple of weeks, we literally transformed everything to paperless. And we've got some amazing results. We're getting better, return rates, better results, more efficient. And we've just realized that digitalization and automation is a way forward. So that's a big trend.
Thank you, BJ. I'd love to comment on this as well. I wrote an article on this 2 years ago at entrepreneur.com on this very topic. And I'm here to tell you the genie is out of the bottle on technology. The integration of technology into business is a fait accompli. Learning how to make that happen in your industry is critical. I have a friend who's a futurist. He writes books on the future, and I saw him speak earlier this year before COVID hit. And he told a story about being driven around in a car from the airport to the hotel we were staying at. And the driver was taking phone calls for future fares. And he said to him on one of the breaks, he said, have you thought about doing a website where people can just go on and they can sign up automatically? And he said, no. The driver said, no, I can't possibly do that. It's not as, I'm not connecting with them personally. And I'm pretty convinced that driver hasn't done it. I'm also pretty convinced that driver is going to be out of business because you've got to integrate technology into what you're doing. Out of necessity, the world's been moving fast forward into digitization because of the pandemic. And I think BNI Online is also a great example. Okay, next question. What are the common misconceptions people have about networking during this time, and how can we combat those misconceptions? Lorena?
I was the first one who said, "Oh my gosh, this is crazy. We cannot possibly do networking online. It's not going to work." But then I started to experience it, and I've been visiting chapters almost every day, and I get to interact with a lot more people than I could before. So that's a huge advantage. We've been able to do it a lot more efficiently. And in one of these chapter meetings during the open networking part of the meeting, I was talking to a very long time member. He's been in BNI for over 10 years. And I thought, oh my gosh, what is he going to say about the BNI Online? I was afraid of that. And he said, I cannot believe we didn't think about this before. This is awesome. I get to wake up later and I don't have to pay for breakfast and I get a lot of things done. This is great. So that was a very encouraging moment for me. And that's when I realized, you know what? This is actually working. I cannot wait to find out what else we can do.
Thank you, Lorena. You can be in love with what you do, but if you're committed to being in love with the way you do it, you may possibly become irrelevant. We need to network differently now. We need to do business differently now. I think years of tradition have conditioned us to think that there's only one way to effectively network, and that's in person. In-person networking is a very, very powerful and effective approach, but the pandemic has forced us to think differently. BNI Online has proven that networking is more about what you do than how you do it, and staying true to a proven networking process and structure, I think, is key. Face-to-face or online, it's about staying connected. Okay, next question. What is one piece of practical advice you would give to someone starting out in networking? And let's have BJ go first.
If somebody's starting out in networking, the chances are, they have a necessity. They probably think, they're looking at growing their business, doing more sales. That would be one of the main reasons somebody wants to start out in networking. There could be other reasons as well. But networking does not necessarily mean that you got to meet new people right away. I would say if you're starting out in networking, it means building and deepening your relationships. So look at the network that you already have. Look at the relationships you have, your customers, your suppliers, your friends maybe, and reach out to them and see if you can have a different conversation about them to get to know them better. So, ask them about their aspirations. What are they proud of? What other interests do they have? Ask them what their challenges are. And, with enough conversations, what you'll actually find with different people, you will find that you can provide solutions to them, you can connect the dots, and then you kind of become what I call a master connector. Because you can provide solutions to each other. And as you start doing more of that, you get more comfortable then meeting new people along the way. You will get introduced to other people through those conversations. And that's would be the route to becoming a great networker and getting some results. So that's my take on that. Over to you, Ivan.
Thank you. Mac, would you like to weigh in on this question?
Yes, Ivan, thank you. So when I'm just thinking about when somebody wants to start up in a network or start networking, it's important for them to sit down for a few minutes and then analyze what is the objective of this particular network they want to join. Is that for a self-help group? Is it a social network, or is it for business? And there's so many. Ivan, you have identified like 6 or 7 different types of networks, and then you have always taught us that we need to have at least 2 to 3 different types of networks that we are able to engage in and also be able to connect with people around. In fact, Ivan, recently BNI and JCI had a fantastic collaboration. JCI, of course, all of us know, and they train budding entrepreneurs, right, on business growth. And so pick the right type of network in addition to BNI. Allocate time to build the network, Ivan, because many people just join a network and they don't realize it's network. It's not net sit or net eat. There's work to be involved in this. So allocate the time required to farm and build that network, right? And once you identify people within that network, we need to work smart and not hard. What do I mean by that? I mean that, you need to, with those connections or like contact spheres, they have connections to your target market. So work with them first and then expand further from that. Because doing virtual one-to-ones with your contact spheres within your network is very important now. invest in yourself. Being part of the network also means investing in yourself and learning to communicate well. So those are some of the few things that I would recommend for anybody starting out in the network, Ivan.
Thanks, Mac. And I'm glad you mentioned JCI, Junior Chamber International. I recommended them first in a book back in 1994, and I've been recommending them ever since. So I'm glad we have a relationship with them now in BNI. Next question. What is the biggest challenge you're currently seeing with business owners, and how can they overcome this challenge? I'll throw this question to Lorena.
The biggest mistake that you can make as a business owner today is not adopting the horse paradigm, as I call it. So here's what it is. Horses have a very different understanding of time, very different from us. They have no recollection of what was before, what happened yesterday, and they have no idea what's coming next. They can only think about today. And today they know that they're hungry, and today they know that it hurts, and sometimes they even give up on life because they only know what's going on today. So I would say that as a business owner, you need to adopt this paradigm. You need to make it work today for you and your business. Forget about what was, because we don't know if we're ever going back to that, or it's very possible that never. And don't wait around to see how it is in the future. Don't wait around for things to get better. Make it work today. Make it work for yourself and make it work for your business.
I absolutely love the horse paradigm principle. I think it's a great one. I think the willingness to change is one of the biggest challenges. I agree with you. I had a president recently ask me when COVID first hit, she said, I've got a member, older member, baby boomer, who just doesn't want to do online meetings. And I told her, I said, tell him that Ivan said he hates change. And it's true. I do. I absolutely hate change. The only thing I hate more than change is failure. Tell him he can change or he can fail. The choice is his. You can't make it for him. You can't make him do it. He's got to be willing to do it, and tell him you'll be there to help him if he does. And I'm really proud to say that he did make that change, and he is still active today in the online meetings. I think it's time for us to be comfortable with discomfort, and BNI can help you do that. If you're not a BNI member, we can definitely help you do that. Okay, last question. For all three of you. For one reason or another, many businesses have had serious financial challenges. What advice do you have for them? And let's start with BJ.
Thanks, Ivan. Lorena and Mac have already shared a lot of great insights, what can be done. I would say be open to ask for help. There are people out there who want to help you. You just need to ask for help. Allow yourself to be vulnerable and share your challenges. I'm talking to a lot of people on an almost daily basis, and I'm hearing some great stories where members are collaborating, members are partnering up to pivot. So, and this is not just within the chapter, it's also cross chapters. So, if you have a good community in where you are, there are members who can help you and help each other. So that's what I would suggest. Share your challenges out there, be open to it, and there will be people would be more than happy to help. We're all in the same storm. We may be in different boats, we're impacted differently, but we're in the same storm and we're all out there to help each other. So that would be my tip.
Great way to put it, BJ. Thank you. Lorena.
I would go back to the idea that we were sharing in the beginning of find a mentor or be a mentor, because here's why. There are thousands of individuals around the world that are in your same business, they're in your same line of business. They could even be considered your competition, even though I don't believe in it. But these people have a wealth of knowledge that you can leverage on. You reach out to people that do the same thing that you do, but somewhere else in the world. Someone somewhere has already found an answer, and you can get great ideas out of these people. And also, I would say advisory groups. Even BNI chapters have improvised some really great advisory groups. I know that they did something really fantastic in Guatemala. They call it Today for You, Tomorrow for Me. And it helps to bounce ideas off a group of people that are professionals that have been in business for a very long time. So can you imagine the flight hours that you have with a group of business owners? You can come up with a solution if you think as a group and not by yourself.
Thank you, Lorena. Thank you very much. Mac.
Yeah, thanks, Ivan. I believe the business that is agile survives. So we have to be flexible, be open to new ideas. I love the way, like when BJ was talking about reframing and when Lorena talked about identifying mentors. So when we get ideas from mentors, we think outside the box. In fact, I had a friend who's an event manager, and he used to do events and expos, and he had this registration system that used to register people who are coming to the event, or when they go to a particular expo stall, just to identify what type of products they're interested in. When this particular situation occurred in the last few months, his business completely was down, and then he was thinking, what can he do with this existing technology? And he was able to pivot. He started using his technology now for contact tracing, and now all small businesses need to register who's coming to their store. So he was able to pivot and make his business more relevant in these marketplaces. So that's one of the things I think right now, Ivan, is to be flexible, to be agile, and to be open to new ideas.
Yeah, great points. I really do agree with that pivot, reinventing yourself. I've seen plenty of business owners shift to something else or do a complete 180 and start something new. I know an event company as well, and they said what we do would never work online, and then COVID hit, and now they're completely online with this very specialized event program, and they're saying this is actually better than it was before because we now can go to people globally instead of just local in person. So pivoting, really, really important. I really appreciate the great suggestions that all three of you provided today. I appreciate you taking the time to be here for everyone. For those watching, you've just gotten a briefcase full of information to help you restart the world. Now it's up to you. It's important for you to reflect on these ideas and really think about how you will apply them to your personal situation. Now I'd like to turn today's broadcast over to BNI's CEO, Graham Weimiller, who has a few comments, announcements, and will close out today's event. Graham?
Thank you very much, Dr. Meisner. Really appreciate it. And just terrific insights, perspective, and encouragement. So I want to thank you. I want to thank BJ, Lorena, and Mac. For those that are part of this program today, I want you to understand that these are established business leaders who have worked with thousands of businesses around the globe. And so they're sharing their perspective after seeing many, many different situations. And so my hope is that you take away a number of solid strategies and tactics and ideas that you can put to work in your business today. And our hope is that you are able to pivot, that you're able to grow, that you're able to create a sustainably successful business. That's what we want to see. So thank you again, Dr. Meisner, BJ, Lorena, and Mac. Terrific, terrific job. Want to encourage everyone that's a part of today's program to really engage with BNI's Global Convention. It is coming up November 11th through 14th. We have registration available right now at early bird discounts through September 26th. This will be one of the largest business events of the year on the planet. And we have some terrific content from folks like you just heard from and other really high quality business leaders that are known around the world. So really hope that you're able to join us again for BNI's Global Convention. You can learn more by visiting BNI.com. Also, we all know a business who could use more referrals right now. It may be someone in your community. It may be a business that a friend of yours owns or even a family member. We would encourage you to have them visit a BNI chapter and see if it is a platform that could be good for them right now. Our goal, our mission is to help make businesses sustainably successful. And we are ultra focused on that in 2020 more than ever. And so they can visit via BNI Online. Our online chapters have generated, as we mentioned earlier, over $10 billion in closed business just between January and the end of August. And so that number is growing. So we encourage you to visit BNI.com. We encourage you to reach out to a business that really needs some new referrals right now, especially. And so again, we want to thank BNI members and leaders for helping to restart the world in 2020. They have done a terrific job, and I want to congratulate them. We also want to welcome business leaders and visitors from around the world to engage with BNI if it is a platform that could be helpful to you right now. And so again, I want to thank everyone who participated in today's session and our great speakers, and again, Dr. Meisner. And we look forward to seeing you November 11th through 14th for BNI's Global Convention. See you there.
Hi, John Maxwell here, and I so look forward to joining the extended BNI network at your Powered by BNI Global Convention this year to help you all restart the world that you live in. It's going to come up on November 11th through 14th, and I'm excited to be one of the headline keynote speakers and to share 3 questions that people are always asking me on how to develop their team. Because as a leader, that's what we do. We develop teams. So I'm excited to be with you, and I'm looking forward to it.